Most men over 50 don't realize they're losing three major qualities that make them strong men until it's too late. Watch the average man. Year by year, he loses these physical traits that make his life easy, exciting, and meaningful again. And by the time he notices the decline, it's become his new normal. Once these three abilities start shrinking, his life starts shrinking too. Today, I'm going to show you the three most important attributes you need to train as a man to keep you formidable, dangerous, and capable in your 70s and beyond. And watch till the end, because the last one is the one most men miss, but it's the most important one of all. The first attribute a man must train for is raw strength, not light strength with a 5-pound dumbbell or chair exercises or standing calisthenics. I'm talking about challenging your body with a barbell and adding weight to it month after month. Gaining the kind of strength that you can feel changing your life, where climbing a flight of stairs feels effortless, or opening a stuck jar is a breeze, or you can carry 50-pound bags of mulch all morning long. All of this and much more is waiting for you on the other side of barbell strength training. And if you're new to barbell strength training or haven't done it in a while, here's your on-ramp. 4 total body lifts. I call them the core 4. We do them 1 lift a day for 30 minutes each, 4 days a week. That's only 2 hours of work a week. And with the right load, these barbell lifts done correctly will make you dramatically stronger year after year. Your core 4 lifts are the squat, having strong legs that get you down to the floor and back up again with ease. The bench press, getting upper body strength to move things, protect yourself, and stay physically capable. The deadlift, having a strong back and grip to easily pick up and carry heavy things. And the standing press, getting commanding shoulders to reach and lift overhead with confidence and without pain. In the beginning, this is all you're going to need, but actually you can get massively stronger only doing these core 4 lifts as you keep adding weight to match your new strength year after year. But this is what I see over time. Men eventually want to celebrate their healthy bodies and they want to start doing more. Now that naturally leads them to training the second attribute. Here at Second 50 Strong, we know that aging does not mean decline. We know that's a lie. Men are not supposed to get weaker, slower, less capable, or even quietly fade into the background and disappear. It doesn't suck to get old. It sucks to believe that men should shrink with age and then let that happen. Because the truth is, a man can become stronger, tougher, more capable, and more formidable in his second 50 years than he was in his first 50. I'm 54 years old, and I'm living proof. After more than 30 years as a physical therapist and 15 years as a wrestling coach, I've seen exactly what separates the men who keep growing from the men who slowly surrender to decline. If you're not finished growing, then you're in the right place. And in a moment, we'll talk about the 3 biggest mistakes men make training after 50, because one of them is probably holding you back right now. The second attribute that every man needs to train is mobility, because raw strength without mobility is like having a jacked up truck with rusted out steering, right? You've got a strong engine, but you can't use it. Have you ever watched a guy struggle to tie his shoes, or struggle to get out of a chair, or even need to grab onto something to get back up off of the floor again? That's not aging. That's loss of mobility. And once mobility starts disappearing, life options start shrinking too. We stop hiking, stop climbing, stop wrestling with the grandkids or trying new things, not because joints get old, but because our bodies get tight and they just don't cooperate anymore. The good news is that mobility comes back with just a little bit of daily work. 5 minutes a day is all you need. The areas that need the most attention for a man are the hips, the shoulders, the spine, and the ankles. These 4 areas determine how you move like a capable man or how you move like a rusty gate. I use a simple wooden dowel and a handful of exercises just to get these joints open and moving again. For the shoulders, pockets to ears. This restores the shoulder range you'll use every day for reaching, lifting, and working overhead. For the hips, dowel squats, restoring the hip mobility that lets you squat, bend, and get down to the floor with confidence. For the spine, hump and slump, a simple way to keep your spine moving so you don't feel stiff every time you stand up or move. And for the ankles, lunges. Getting back the ankle mobility you had in your 20s can completely change how your whole body moves. The goal isn't to become a yoga instructor. The goal is to move through life without your body reminding you of your age. And there's another reason mobility really matters, because building the combination of raw strength and now having good mobility sets you up to be ready for the 3rd attribute you need. And this trait is the one every man must train after 50, but almost nobody talks about. The 3rd most important trait, and the one that nobody talks about, is power. And this is the one that every man ignores. Men focus on staying active. Some guys even focus on getting stronger, but very few men focus on being explosive. That's a mistake, because power is what keeps you athletic in your second 50 years. Power is strength expressed quickly. It's the ability to react, to accelerate, to catch yourself when you trip, to jump or sprint and even change directions. All these things make a man feel like he's thriving instead of just getting older. Watch 2 guys in their 60s walk across a parking lot. One can move with a spring in his step, and the other guy shuffles like he's a zombie. The difference isn't age, it's power. Power is what makes you look capable before you ever say a word. And here's the part most men don't realize. Power disappears way faster than strength, which means if you're not training it, you're losing it. That's why so many men wake up one day and realize they don't feel young anymore, not because they got older, but because they stopped training the qualities that create athleticism. Power changes that. Power lets you run with your kids, play with your grandkids, jump into a pickup game, or even compete in master sports. Power lets you do physically demanding things long after other men have given those things up. We train power with Olympic weightlifting, teaching your muscles to fire off like a gunshot that will surprise other men. Sprinting, regaining athleticism at a level most men haven't felt in decades. And plyometrics, teaching your body to stay agile, strong, and responsive when life moves fast in awkward positions. You become the man who moves with speed, strength, and intent. And that's why I call power the fountain of youth, because nothing makes a man feel younger than moving explosively. But here's the catch. You've got to earn the right to train power. First, build raw strength, then restore mobility, finally add power. That's the progression, and when you combine all 3, remarkable things start to happen. You stop feeling like an old man who's slipping into decline and start feeling like a capable man who's growing formidable again. Imagine yourself 6 months from now. That time is gonna pass anyway. But instead of feeling 6 months older, you feel younger and more capable. You walk around with confidence because your body looks and acts younger. You carry heavy things without thinking about it. You move freely without stiffness, and you have the ability to run, jump, react, and do hard things. In a world full of men who are surrendering their physical abilities, you're building yours. Most men spend their 50s and 60s managing their new decline, but you're building strength, expanding mobility, and developing power. And year after year, the gap between you and the average man keeps getting wider, not because you're special, but because you're training raw strength, mobility, and power. Here are the 3 biggest mistakes men make when trying to train these physical attributes. Mistake number 1, not believing a man his age can get very strong, so he doesn't train for it. He sticks with small dumbbells, light resistance bands, or just endless body weight exercises, and he robs himself from gaining a lot of strength and caps off his strength gains way too early. He doesn't think he belongs in the big leagues of strength training, so he never tries to get there. Here's the fix. Understand that getting bigger, stronger muscles is your birthright as a man at any age. You literally cannot stop that from happening. Do the Core 4 second 50 strong system and you will get massively stronger. If you don't sabotage yourself with refusing to eat or sleep, this is a no-brainer. And mistake number 2, rushing mobility training faster than their joints can adapt. Some men think they can push through mobility training like they can push through a heavy rep. They think they're speeding things up by forcing their joints open, but really they're slowing things down by causing injuries that their body now needs to heal from. Here's the fix. Understand that overstretching is very real and just as bad for you as overtraining is. There are other tissues in your body that need more time to lengthen than just your muscles. And in our sit around, sedentary, easy lifestyle, those tissues got really tight. And mistake number 3, overtraining power with too much volume. Even when you have the strength and the mobility for power training, you have to respect how much power training drains your nervous system. Your brain and nerves are working hard to rapid fire those muscles, and they'll fatigue quicker than your upgraded strength. Here's the fix. Understand that draining your nervous system, it makes you feel like shit. Even if you're strong and mobile, start off doing less than you think you should. 2 sets of 2 to 3 reps, then walk away. Slowly build your power training to give your brain and nerves time to adapt to these new demands. Just this past weekend, I helped my oldest son move to Chicago for a new job. He's a mechanical engineer, so he had a lot of stuff. Heavy tools, big 3D printers, furniture, boxes, you name it. And a queen-sized pull-out couch that honestly felt heavy enough to weigh as much as a small car. Now, the apartment building was older and of course didn't have an elevator, and he was on the 3rd floor. The stairway to get up to the 3rd floor was so narrow and tight that moving that pull-out couch took us 30 minutes all by itself. In total, we did like 37 trips up those stairs. Yes, we counted, and it took us over 4 hours. And to make things even crazier, we have driven straight through the night. We were running on almost no sleep. We had eaten nothing for like 24 hours and were even dehydrated from trying to minimize the amount of stops we made during the drive. And here's the best part. About 3/4 way through our move-in, my son looked at me and said, "Dad, I can't believe you're in better shape than I am." Now, he's 25 years old, a former wrestler, and still in good shape. And yet, I was in better shape than him. And not because I'm special, not because I won some genetic lottery, I certainly didn't. And not because he was out of shape. The difference is I've been consistently training these 3 qualities, week after week, month after month, year after year. What happened on those stairs wasn't proof that I found some secret. It was proof that the body adapts to the demands you give on it at any age. Sitting around trains weakness and you become weak. This makes time work against you in your second 50 years. But if you train raw strength, mobility, and power, you'll become athletic and formidable, and then time works for you. We're all getting older. Aging is inevitable and, death is certain, but decline, that's a choice. If you're serious about building raw strength after 50, I've created a free strength training crash course at my website, second50strong.com. It shows you exactly how to get started, even if you haven't touched a barbell in years. You'll learn these core 4 lifts, how to train them safely, and how to build real strength that carries over into your everyday life. You can get it by clicking the link in the pinned comments. And if you're a man who refuses to accept decline, make sure you subscribe, because everything we do here at Second 50 Strong is built around one idea. You're not done yet, and your second 50 years can be your best years ever. These years, they're going to pass anyway. The question is, who are you going to become? Keep growing, keep building, keep moving forward, and always remember, most men fade, but you're not most men.